I just bought my second Rolex and now I'm out $31,000, or am I? My name is Zach Colburn. I'm a 26-year-old millionaire based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And over the last 6 months, I have absolutely fallen in love with the watch and timepiece world. From the history to the exclusivity of luxury timepiece watches, I can say I am hooked. Now, you might be wondering, especially during a recession, why are you buying luxury watches? Now, I will explain that shortly and why I think it's worth spending $31,000 on watches. But first, I want to share the story of how I got my latest timepiece, this blue Submariner. Now, when I first moved to Las Vegas from San Diego, I was already very interested in the luxury watch world. The problem was San Diego only had one AD and it was very, very crowded. Now, when I got to Las Vegas, there was about 4 Rolex ADs, and so I felt like I was in heaven. Now, as I mentioned in my previous Rolex videos, I would go out to dinner, go out to the club, and I would see so many people with nice timepieces on, and now that I was aware of it, I was starting to see them everywhere. I felt like I was being left out of some secret community, and I really wanted to be a part of it. And then the more watch enthusiasts I spoke to, the more passionate they were about their collections, the more I realized that this was something I wanted to be a part of. Now, in the beginning, I was hesitant because watches are expensive, and I am very frugal with my money. But then I started to do some research on my own, and my eyes were open to the fact that having a nice watch as a wealthy business owner can be a very beneficial investment. Did you know that Rolex watches have outperformed gold, real estate, and stocks over the last 10 years? And sellers believe their future value will only continue to deliver more and more wealth. When I read this report from Insider, I knew it was time to get my hands on one. So I started networking and meeting all the authorized dealers I could. When I first moved to Vegas, I walked into every single AD to meet as many reps as I could. Sometimes I would go in once a week, meeting new reps each and every single time. There was a period of about 3 months where I would go in, check in the stock, and simply just have a conversation with whatever rep is in the store just to get my foot in the door. Anytime a friend came into town, I would use that as an excuse to go into the store, show them around, introduce them to the watch world, and have them get put on the wait list as well. One of the ADs that I met in Vegas in September was this really awesome woman. We had a really great conversation. Her energy and enthusiasm was through the roof, and it felt like I had a real relationship with her. She did give me her number, so that way I was able to connect with her, and she sent me pieces that I'd be interested in picking up. Now, unfortunately, those pieces weren't ones that I wanted, but it did seem like I was in their network, so that was a win. Now, the problem with the luxury watch world, which could be seen as a benefit which keeps their value high, is that not that many watches are made per year. Only about 1.05 million Rolex watches are made per year. And though that might sound like a lot, trust me, it is not. There are an estimated 1,816 authorized Rolex dealers in the world. So that means each store is only getting about 578 watches a year. And that's if all the watches are evenly distributed to the ADs, which we don't know. Reselling Rolex watches is a huge business and a very lucrative one too. So I guarantee you that some of the top resellers are somehow getting their watches directly from the ADs, taking those watches off the marketplace for normal everyday consumers. But why am I bringing all this data up? I'm bringing it up to show how much demand there is for these luxury timepieces and how difficult it can be to pick up your first piece from an AD. And that's why building a relationship, networking, and becoming memorable in these ADs is very important to get your first piece, because only about 5 months after meeting my AD, my moment finally came. She called me. On February 15th, I was unpacking for the day. It was around 7:30 p.m. I laid down to take a nap and was really getting ready to pretty much go to bed. I got a text message from the AD saying, "We have a surprise for you." And I thought, oh boy, what is this? I really wasn't expecting a piece at all, but I was definitely intrigued. I laid my head down from a nap, and when I woke up, there was a photo of the exact watch I was looking to buy, asking if I can come in at 8 p.m. To me, at that time, I only had 30 minutes to get up and get ready. I immediately jumped up, took a shower, threw on my clothes, hopped in my car with my girlfriend, and we sprinted driving down to the store. And it was everything I hoped it would be and more. The AD told me some useful information while I was there buying the watch that I'd love to pass on to you guys as well. Now, before I do, I want to say that every AD is different. You might have different rules going into different ADs. So this is just to give you an idea of what it could be like buying a watch from an AD. It's not going to be consistent across all of the ADs that you find. She told me that sometimes to prevent watch flipping or reselling, the ADs will make you get an engraving on the watch, especially if it's your first watch. But because I had such a strong relationship and I was very passionate about watches, I didn't have to get one for this piece. What was very interesting is that they had a background created for me, things like my work, things like how many watches I've bought in the past, what my interests were. Before this piece was given to me, it had to be approved by the manager since it was my first piece from the AD. And the last tip that I got was now that I had bought my first piece from an AD, I was not allowed to buy another one from that store for another 3 months. However, if I wanted to go into a different AD with a different rep, I could buy another piece then. So if your goal is to buy as many pieces as possible, it is going to be worth your time to establish a relationship with multiple ADs in your local area. And the reason why they have that is because they want to evenly distribute the watches to as many new customers as possible and prevent resellers from going in there, buying pieces and flipping them on the aftermarket. But all in all, getting my first Rolex from an AD within 5 months is a pretty incredible feat, if I do say so myself. And it's an even greater feat that it happened to be my dream watch, the blue two-tone Submariner. For those of you who don't know, the Submariner was officially launched in 1954 with 3 different variants with the A296 or A290 automatic movements, and were rated with either 100 meters or 200 meters water resistance. The watch design features a screw-down crown, a rotating timing bezel with demarcations at 5-minute intervals, a black dial with prominent luminous indexes, and hands. The Rolex Submariner watch was rigorously tested and proved its prowess, becoming the one to beat. The Submariner continued to make headlines, especially in the James Bond franchise, sporting various references throughout the years, becoming synonymous with the suave and gadget-equipped super spy. Over the years, the Submariner has undergone various changes and modernization, such as the increase of case of size to 40 millimeters, the addition of crown guards, the introduction of a date display and magnifying cyclops, and the Cerachrome bezel. The arrival of the Cerachrome bezel instantly differentiates an 80s or 90s version from a more modern one. Because of this, the Submariner has a legacy that extends beyond its practical use as a dive watch, making it a cultural icon and one of the most highly sought after Rolex watches. Now, when I was first looking into watches, this watch immediately caught my attention. The blue dial on this thing is unlike any blue that I've seen anywhere else, and it was a toss-up between a watch that was very loud, which I will say the Submariner is pretty loud, or a watch that was a little bit more subtle and it could be mixed and matched with a little bit more of a variety of outfits. So that's why my first watch was this Wimbledon Datejust, is because it was a little bit more toned down and I could match it with a few more outfits. However, this was still one that I wanted on my list just because I loved the watch so much. So when I got the call, I didn't think twice. I went in and I got it ASAP. Now my plan with this watch is to take a little bit more care of it. My Datejust is my daily driver. I wear that thing literally everywhere. I wear it everywhere. I travel with it. I bang it up. It's my daily beater watch. Now this Submariner is definitely going to be one that I take care more of. It's going to be the one that I wear out to nice dinners, to nice events, and one that's going to be more for special occasions. Now to keep this thing from unwinding, I did buy a watch winder and it sits right on my desk. It serves as a motivational symbol for when I'm working hard. I look over at the watch and have a reminder of what all this hard work represents in me. With that being said, it was a total of $31,000 for these watches. However, the benefit is that because these watches are so hard to get, the aftermarket value of the watch immediately goes up. So I bought this watch for around 14.7K, and already this watch is worth around $19,000 to $20,000. So I made about $5,000 literally just walking out of the store with this watch. Now, I do not plan on selling this watch. It is not an investment piece in which I'm going to profit off of one day. However, it is a security piece in case I were to ever need to sell it. I do have something of value, but I would like to keep this piece in my family for as long as possible. There is sentimental value in having a piece that was chosen by the AD to put into your hands. I'm going to keep it close for safe measure. I hope you guys got value from this video, and I would love to answer any other questions you have about the watch world. To finish out this video, I am still learning about the watch world myself, but I'm super happy to share any knowledge I learn along the way. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.